What if I told you that living to 100 isn't just a matter of luck or genetics? What if the secret to reaching your 100th birthday lies not in a magic pill or revolutionary treatment, but in the simple daily choices you make every morning when you wake up? Around the world, there are special places called blue zones, regions where people regularly live to 100 and beyond. From the hills of Sardinia to the islands of Okinawa, from the mountains of Costa Rica to the communities of Seventh-day Adventists in California, these extraordinary individuals share remarkably similar daily practices. Today, we're going to explore 7 daily habits that these centenarians have woven into the fabric of their everyday lives. These aren't complex medical interventions or expensive treatments. They're simple, accessible practices that anyone can adopt, starting today. The fascinating part? These habits aren't just about adding years to your life. They're about adding life to your years. The centenarians we'll discuss aren't just surviving. They're thriving, maintaining their independence, their joy, and their sense of purpose well into their second century of life. So whether you're 30 or 80, these 7 habits offer a roadmap to not just longevity, but to vibrant, meaningful aging. Let's discover what the world's oldest and wisest can teach us about living well. Habit 1. They start each day with purpose. The first habit that sets centenarians apart is how they begin each day, with a clear sense of purpose. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai, your reason for being. In Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, it's plan de vida, a life plan that gives meaning to each day. But what does this look like in practice? It's not about grand gestures or world-changing missions. For 102-year-old Maria from Sardinia, her purpose is tending to her small garden and sharing vegetables with neighbors. For 98-year-old Hiroshi from Okinawa, it's practicing calligraphy each morning and teaching children on weekends. The key is that these individuals wake up knowing they have something meaningful to contribute, something that makes their presence in the world matter. Research shows that people with a strong sense of purpose live up to 7 years longer than those without one. How do they cultivate this daily? They begin each morning with a moment of reflection. Not necessarily meditation or prayer, though it can be, but a simple acknowledgement of what they hope to accomplish that day and why it matters. They ask themselves, what will I give to the world today? Rather than, what will the world give to me? This sense of purpose doesn't have to be career-related. It might be being a loving grandparent, maintaining family traditions, caring for a pet, or simply being a friendly face in the neighborhood. The important thing is that it's personal, meaningful, and renewable. Something that can motivate them day after day, year after year. When you wake up tomorrow, try asking yourself, what is my reason for being today? The answer might surprise you, and it might just add years to your life. Habit 2. They move naturally throughout the day. Here's something that might surprise you. The world's longest living people don't belong to gyms. They don't run marathons or lift heavy weights. Instead, they've built natural movement into every aspect of their daily lives. In the blue zones, physical activity isn't something you schedule. It's something you live. In Sardinia, shepherds in their 90s still walk miles each day with their flocks across hilly terrain. In Okinawa, centenarians tend gardens, getting up and down from the ground dozens of times daily. In Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, people walk to visit friends, carry water, and do physical chores well into their advanced years. This is what researchers call natural movement. Physical activity that's built into daily routines rather than segregated into workout sessions. The centenarians move constantly throughout the day. They walk to the market instead of driving, they garden instead of hiring landscapers, they cook from scratch instead of ordering takeout, they clean their own homes instead of hiring services. The magic isn't in the intensity. It's in the consistency. While a 30-minute gym session 3 times a week gives you 90 minutes of movement, natural movement throughout the day can easily add up to several hours of gentle, sustained activity. Studies show that people who sit for long periods have significantly higher mortality rates, even if they exercise regularly. But centenarians rarely sit for extended periods. They're constantly getting up, moving around, using their bodies in functional ways. The lesson here isn't to abandon the gym, but to think beyond it. Take phone calls while walking. Garden instead of watching TV. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Cook your own meals. Clean your own house. Walk to nearby destinations. These small movements, accumulated over decades, create bodies that remain strong, flexible, and capable well into the second century of life. Remember, the goal isn't to exhaust yourself, it's to keep moving, naturally and consistently, every single day. Habit 3. They eat until they're 80% full. One of the most powerful longevity practices from the Blue Zones comes from a simple Okinawan phrase, hara hachi bu. It means, eat until you are 80% full. This isn't a diet. It's a way of eating that centenarians have practiced their entire lives. They stop eating when they feel satisfied, not stuffed. They listen to their body's hunger and fullness cues, something many of us have forgotten how to do in our supersized culture. Why is this so powerful? When you eat until you're 80% full instead of completely full, you naturally consume about 10 to 20% fewer calories. Over a lifetime, this modest calorie reduction can have profound effects on longevity. Studies show that calorie restriction, when done healthily, can extend lifespan in virtually every species studied. But how do you know when you're 80% full? Centenarians describe it as feeling satisfied but not heavy, comfortable but not sleepy after eating. You should feel like you could eat a little more, but you don't need to. Here's how they practice hara hachi bu in daily life. They eat slowly, putting their fork down between bites. They use smaller plates and bowls to control portions naturally. They focus on their food, eating without distractions like television or phones. They stop and check in with their hunger levels partway through the meal. Many centenarians also follow another important practice. They eat their largest meal early in the day. Breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, dinner like a pauper. Their evening meals are often light. Perhaps some vegetables, a small piece of fish, or soup. The beautiful thing about hara hachi bu is that it's not about restriction. It's about awareness. It's about reconnecting with your body's natural wisdom and trusting it to tell you when you've had enough. After decades of practicing this, centenarians maintain healthy weights effortlessly, without ever dieting in the modern sense of the word. Habit 4. They prioritize plant-based foods. If you look at the plates of centenarians around the world, you'll notice something remarkable. They're colorful. Not because of artificial additives or processed foods, but because they're filled with plants, vegetables, fruits, beans, and whole grains in every color of the rainbow. While centenarians aren't necessarily vegetarians, plants make up about 95% of their diet. Meat, when consumed, is typically used as a condiment or reserved for special occasions, not as the centerpiece of every meal. Let's take a journey around the Blue Zones to see what this looks like. In Sardinia, centenarians eat sourdough bread, sheep's cheese, and plenty of vegetables from their gardens. In Okinawa, the traditional diet centers around purple sweet potatoes, tofu, and bitter melon. In Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, it's black beans, corn tortillas, and tropical fruits. In Icaria, Greece, it's wild greens, olive oil, and herbal teas. The common thread? These foods are whole, unprocessed, and plant-based. They're rich in fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients, compounds that fight inflammation and protect against age-related diseases. But here's what's particularly interesting. Centenarians don't eat these foods because they're healthy. They eat them because that's what's available, affordable, and traditional in their communities. They've been eating this way their entire lives, not as a diet, but as a way of life. The beans deserve special mention. Whether it's black beans in Costa Rica, lentils in Sardinia, or black-eyed peas in Seventh-day Adventist communities, legumes appear in the diets of centenarians everywhere. A half cup of beans daily is associated with an extra 4 years of life expectancy. How can you apply this? Start by making plants the star of your plate. Fill half your plate with vegetables at each meal. Choose whole grains over refined ones. Snack on fruits and nuts instead of processed foods. Try Meatless Monday, or use meat as a flavoring rather than the main attraction. Remember, centenarians didn't become healthy overnight. They made these choices consistently, day after day, for decades. The good news is that it's never too late to start increasing the plants on your plate. Habit 5. They practice daily stress relief rituals. Even centenarians experience stress. It's an unavoidable part of life. The difference is they have daily practices to shed that stress before it accumulates and damages their health. In every blue zone, there are built-in stress relief practices woven into the fabric of daily life. In Sardinia, men gather in the piazza each afternoon to laugh and socialize. In Okinawa, people practice ancestor veneration and spend time in meditation. In Costa Rica, the afternoon nap is sacred. Seventh-day Adventists observe a weekly Sabbath, setting aside time for rest and reflection. The key word here is daily. These aren't occasional spa visits or annual vacation retreats. Centenarians have figured out how to downshift, relax, and release tension every single day. Why is this so crucial? Chronic stress triggers inflammation in the body, which accelerates aging and contributes to heart disease, Alzheimer's, and other age-related conditions. When you're constantly stressed, your body produces cortisol and other stress hormones that, over time, damage your organs and immune system. But daily stress relief practices act like a reset button. They activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode, allowing for repair, recovery, and renewal. What do these daily rituals look like? They're surprisingly simple. Some centenarians take a daily walk in nature. Others spend time in prayer or meditation. Many have afternoon tea or coffee with friends. Some tend gardens, which provides both physical activity and stress relief. Others practice crafts like knitting, woodworking, or painting. The important thing isn't what the ritual is. It's that it's consistent, enjoyable, and genuinely relaxing. It should be something that takes you away from the pressures and demands of daily life, even if just for a few minutes. For centenarians, these aren't luxuries or indulgences, they're necessities. They understand intuitively what science has proven: that managing stress isn't just about feeling better today, it's about ensuring you have many more todays to enjoy. What could your daily stress relief ritual be? The answer is personal, but the practice is universal among those who live the longest. Habit 6. They stay socially connected. Loneliness kills. It's not a metaphor. It's a medical reality. Studies show that social isolation increases mortality risk by 26%, making it as dangerous as smoking or obesity. But centenarians rarely experience loneliness, because they've made social connection a daily priority. In blue zones, strong social networks aren't just nice to have, they're essential to survival. In Sardinia, multiple generations live together or very close by. In Okinawa, people belong to moais, groups of lifelong friends who commit to each other through thick and thin. In Costa Rica, family gatherings are frequent and extended. In Seventh-day Adventist communities, church provides a built-in social network with shared values and regular gatherings. What makes these connections special isn't just their existence, it's their quality and consistency. These aren't superficial relationships or casual acquaintances. They're deep, meaningful connections with people who provide emotional support, practical help, and genuine companionship. Centenarians invest in relationships daily. They check on friends and family members. They share meals together regularly. They participate in community activities. They maintain friendships across decades. They're generous with their time and attention, and they receive the same in return. But here's something particularly important. Centenarians don't wait for others to reach out to them. They take initiative in maintaining relationships. They make the phone calls, extend the invitations, and show up for others consistently. The health benefits of strong social connections are profound. People with robust social networks have stronger immune systems, lower rates of depression, and better cognitive function as they age. They recover faster from illness and are more likely to survive major health challenges. In our increasingly digital and isolated world, centenarians offer a powerful reminder. Relationships require daily cultivation. They don't maintain themselves through social media likes or occasional text messages. They need real time, real presence, and real investment. How do centenarians build and maintain these connections? They eat meals together instead of alone. They participate in religious or community organizations. They help their neighbors and accept help in return. They maintain family traditions that bring people together. They prioritize people over tasks, relationships over achievements. The lesson is clear. If you want to live to 100, don't do it alone. Invest in relationships every single day, Because the people in your life aren't just adding joy to your years, they're adding years to your life. Habit 7. They maintain lifelong learning and mental engagement. The final habit that sets centenarians apart is perhaps the most inspiring. They never stop learning, growing, and challenging their minds. At 90, 95, even 105, they're still curious about the world, still acquiring new skills, and still finding ways to contribute their wisdom to others. In Sardinia, shepherds in their 90s still learn new techniques for caring for their flocks. In Okinawa, centenarians continue practicing calligraphy, learning new poems, and studying traditional arts. In Costa Rica, elderly craftspeople teach their skills to younger generations while learning about modern techniques. Seventh-day Adventist centenarians often remain active in their communities as teachers, mentors, and volunteers. This isn't about formal education or academic achievement. It's about maintaining what researchers call cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to adapt, learn, and function even as it ages. When you continually challenge your mind with new experiences, problems to solve, and skills to master, you build neural pathways that help protect against cognitive decline. But lifelong learning for centenarians is about more than brain health. It's about maintaining a sense of vitality and purpose. Learning new things keeps life interesting and engaging. It provides goals to work toward and achievements to celebrate. It connects them with younger people who can share fresh perspectives. What does this look like in daily practice? Some centenarians read voraciously, newspapers, books, magazines, staying current with world events and exploring new ideas. Others learn crafts, teaching their hands new skills while challenging their minds with complex patterns and techniques. Many become storytellers, organizing and sharing their life experiences in ways that require memory, creativity, and communication skills. Technology hasn't passed them by either. Many centenarians have learned to use computers, tablets, and smartphones to stay connected with distant family members and access information. They approach new technology with curiosity rather than fear. Perhaps most importantly, centenarians remain teachers throughout their lives. They share their knowledge, skills, and wisdom with younger generations. This teaching role keeps their minds sharp while providing a sense of purpose and contribution. The key insight here is that the brain, like the body, operates on a use-it-or-lose-it principle. Centenarians use their minds actively every day, whether they're solving crossword puzzles, learning new recipes, planning community events, or simply engaging in stimulating conversations with friends and family. Conclusion. Bringing it all together. As we've seen, the 7 daily habits of centenarians aren't exotic or complicated. They don't require expensive equipment, special diets, or revolutionary treatments. They're simple, sustainable practices that anyone can begin implementing today. Starting each day with purpose, moving naturally throughout the day, eating until 80% full, prioritizing plant-based foods, practicing daily stress relief, staying socially connected, and maintaining lifelong learning. What makes these habits so powerful isn't any single practice. It's the way they work together, creating a lifestyle that supports both longevity and vitality. Purpose gives meaning to the movement. Social connections make the meals more enjoyable. Stress relief enhances learning. Plant-based foods provide the energy for natural movement. The beautiful truth about centenarians is that they don't live longer despite aging. They live longer because of how they've chosen to age. They've discovered that the goal isn't just to add years to your life, but to add life to your years. These habits represent a different philosophy about aging. Instead of viewing it as decline and loss, centenarians see it as continued growth, contribution, and connection. They don't retire from life. They remain fully engaged with it. The most inspiring part? It's never too late to start. Whether you're 30 or 80, these habits can begin improving your health, happiness, and longevity immediately. You don't need to implement all 7 at once. Choose one that resonates with you and begin there. As it becomes natural, add another. Remember, centenarians didn't become extraordinary overnight. They made small, consistent choices every day for decades. The same opportunity exists for each of us. Starting today, we can begin living like those who live longest and best. The question isn't whether you'll live to 100. It's whether you'll live like someone who deserves to see that 100th birthday with vitality, purpose, and joy. The choice and the habits are yours.